Today, we're taking a journey through the complex, often controversial world of the pharmaceutical industry. Our guide for this exploration is the eye-opening book, Big Pharma, Exposing the Global Healthcare Agenda, by Jacky Law. Picture this. It's 1981, and the world is on the brink of a health crisis that will change everything. The first official report of what we now know as AIDS emerges from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control. 5 young men in Los Angeles, all with inexplicably depressed immune systems, are diagnosed with a rare parasitic lung infection. This moment marks the beginning of a plague that would go on to claim millions of lives worldwide. I had the privilege, and it was a privilege, of interviewing Stuart Anderson in 1987. Stuart was living with AIDS, and his story is both heartbreaking and inspiring. At a time when fear and misinformation were rampant, Stuart was one of the world's longest surviving patients. Despite his illness, he was determined to live on his terms. He fought tirelessly to make sense of his disease, even as the medical community struggled to offer any real solutions. Stuart's story is a testament to the human spirit. He was one of the first to challenge the medical establishment, advocating for patient involvement in treatment decisions. His journey led him to co-found the self-help group Body Positive, and he became a beacon of hope for many. Stuart's message was clear. When you look in the mirror and see marks all over your body, it's hard to feel good about yourself. But the key to feeling in control is how you feel about yourself. Stuart's story is just one of many that highlight the profound impact of AIDS on our understanding of patient care. As journalist Sharon Begley noted in a 2001 Newsweek report, people with AIDS stormed scientific conferences, banded together in ways no other patients ever had, helped revolutionize the process of testing experimental drugs, and they inspired others. But AIDS is just the tip of the iceberg. Big Pharma delves into the broader issues plaguing the pharmaceutical industry. It exposes the uncomfortable truth that, for all its advancements, the industry is driven by profit margins and market forces that often prioritize shareholder value over public health. Consider the case of ulcers. For decades, the medical community believed ulcers were caused by stress, smoking, and diet. But in the 1980s, Australian scientist Barry Marshall discovered that a bacterium called Helicobacter pylori was the real culprit. Despite this groundbreaking finding, it took years for the medical community to accept it. Why? Because the treatment, antibiotics, was far cheaper than the blockbuster drugs that had dominated the market. This is a recurring theme in Big Pharma. The book reveals how the industry often prioritizes the development of blockbuster drugs, those with billion-dollar potential, over treatments that might be more effective but less profitable. Take the case of statins, the cholesterol-lowering drugs that have become a staple in modern medicine. These drugs have been shown to save lives, but their widespread use has also been driven by aggressive marketing campaigns and a relentless push to expand the market. The book also delves into the murky world of drug regulation. It highlights the cozy relationship between regulatory bodies and the pharmaceutical industry, raising questions about the true independence of these agencies. For instance, the FDA's top lawyer, Dan Troy, was criticized for inviting drug companies to inform him of lawsuits against them, so the FDA could help in their defense. This is just one example of how the lines between public interest and commercial gain can blur. But perhaps the most alarming revelation is the industry's influence on how we perceive illness itself. The book argues that pharmaceutical companies actively work to broaden the definition of disease, turning everyday ailments into medical conditions that require treatment. This process, known as disease-mongering, has led to an over-reliance on medication and a growing skepticism about the true value of many drugs. Take the example of obesity. The book explores how the quest for a pharmacological solution to obesity has led to a multi-billion-dollar industry, despite limited success and significant side effects. The irony is that the real solution, eating healthier and exercising more, is often overlooked in favor of quick fixes. So what can be done? Big Pharma offers several recommendations. It calls for greater transparency in clinical trials, stricter regulation of drug marketing, and a re-evaluation of how we assess the value of new drugs. It also suggests that patients should be more involved in their treatment decisions, advocating for a shift from compliance to concordance. Ultimately, Big Pharma is a call to action. It urges us to rethink our relationship with the pharmaceutical industry and to demand a healthcare system that prioritizes public health over profit. As the book concludes, the human race can survive perfectly well without an endless supply of new drugs, but the corporations that produce them can't. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the complex world of Big Pharma. I hope this episode has given you a new perspective on the forces that shape our healthcare system. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with others. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and stay curious.
This has been a BrightLearn video from BrightLearn.ai on the book Big Pharma, Exposing the Global Healthcare Agenda by Jacky Law. Visit BrightLearn.ai for more fascinating videos like this one, and visit naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage and breaking news on critical stories that keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.